The government has decided to extend the Recovery Movement Control Order until December 31st, 2020, as the war against COVID-19 rages on. In an address to the nation, PM Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin says that although the country's COVID-19 infection number is under control, the situation at home and globally still remains precarious. There are currently more than 22 million COVID-19 cases worldwide, with the death toll numbering 780,000. Muhyiddin also stressed there would be no exceptions if anybody was found flouting the RMCO COVID-related regulations, adding that he supported the Ministry of Health's recommendation to increase the fines by 2 to 3 times. However, Act 342 that governs this needs to be amended first. The PM says that the government is also in discussion with manufacturers of face masks to help reduce the price. Today, Malaysia recorded 10 new cases, 8 of which were imported, which brings her total positive cases to 9,306. CIMB Group Holdings' second quarter net profit plummeted 82% from 1.5 billion to 277.1 million as the COVID-19 pandemic affected the group's performance. The quarter's numbers were hit by a modification loss arising from the loan moratorium, elevated provisions due to macroeconomic factors, and specific credit provisioning. Top line fell by 13.5% to 3.9 billion from 4.5 billion previously. No interim dividend was declared as liquidity management remains a priority. Group CEO Dato' Abdul Rahman Ahmad says the subdued performance came within expectations given the circumstances and that it will continue for the rest of 2020 in line with uncertain economic conditions. However, positively, he says that CIMB's underlying business remains resilient as loans grew 3.9% and deposits grew 7.8%, driving net interest income up 6%. Abdul Rahman adds that the group is recalibrating its midterm Forward 23 plan while at the same time aggressively rationalising cost, targeting an absolute cost reduction of 500 million or 5% for FY20. For the first half, net profit dropped 71% to 785 million, while revenue declined 7.3% to 8 billion ringgit. Public Bank saw a second quarter net profit drop by 24.8% to just over $1 billion due to a one-off modification loss related to COVID-19 relief measures and impact from OPR reductions. Revenue dropped from 5.6 billion to 4.7 billion ringgit. It was a similar story for the first half, when net profit dropped 15% to 2.3 billion and revenue declined 8.2% to 10.3 billion from 11.2 billion previously. Chairman Emeritus Director and Advisor Tan Sri Teh Hong Piao admits that the current condition poses an exceptional challenge, and as such the strategy will centre on prudency and efficiency. It should be noted that no interim dividend was declared, the first time that has happened in 15 years. In addition, Teh says the board has decided to reassess its dividend plan at year-end once the bank's full-year numbers have been finalised. Going forward, Teh says the group's focus remains on organic growth in retail and commercial banking. The bank believes there is still demand for financing, but also acknowledges that the outlook remains uncertain. RHB Bank does not foresee another OPR cut in the near term as it expects the Malaysian economy to bounce back. Group MD Datuk Khairul Ramli says its house view is that while GDP will contract in the third quarter, it will be at a smaller rate. As for the fourth quarter, he says that there will be some positive GDP growth, even though it may be small. In addition, Khairul says that while the number of loan applications by SMEs are still below the pre-COVID-19 times, it has rebounded from the lows seen in April and May. RHB saw a second quarter net profit drop 34.9% to 400.8 million ringgit, mainly due to a one-off modification loss of 392.4 million from the loan moratorium and higher allowances for credit losses on loans. Revenue slipped 4.4% to 3.27 billion and no dividend was declared. For the first half of FY20, net profit declined 22.3% year-on-year to 971.65 million, while revenue dropped 4% to 6.5 billion ringgit. Tenaga Nasional's second quarter net profit plunged 40% to 676 million as a result of higher tax expense, balanced out by a gain in forex. In fact, tax expense had more than doubled to 270 million compared with the year before. Top line was down 15% to 10.9 billion for the quarter due to the drop in electricity sales. TNB declared an interim single-tier dividend of 22 cents per share. As for its half-year report card, net profit almost halved to 1.4 billion, while revenue declined 13.7% to 22.5 billion as certain customer segments were adversely affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. In its board statement, the national power provider says it has taken prudent measures in terms of operational and financial requirements in order to keep resilient. TNB expects to see gradual recovery in performance for the remaining quarters, underpinned by improving business momentum thanks to stimulus rollouts.